Some people decide in a month and they find the right business. Some people it takes a year. It really takes time. You got to go through all the franchise disclosure. You got to read the documents. We suggest working with franchise attorneys when you get closer to signing your franchise agreement. Understand the business model, who the principals, is this franchise model owned by a bigger conglomerate? FDD is a great place to start once you start getting into the business model. Then the item 19, the financial earning claims, and then validation process where you're going to call the franchisees in the system. These are all the steps you're going to do. But first, define the buy box, define the thesis of what type of business would make sense, and then our team helps you do all this. If you're looking to invest in a franchise, I would strongly recommend you look at a business model that has recurring revenue, or a membership model, or some kind of subscription model, because ultimately, I believe that is the best way to go, because when you build your book of members or subscribers to your services, then your business will increase in value. And these type of businesses will trade at a higher multiple than a normal service-based business. So if you're looking at, let's say we're looking at the home service industry in general for some sort of franchise model. If you find a business model that is mostly recurring revenue and you can build that book of business, I believe that is by far superior. One is you do the work once and that customer will stay with you for 2, 3, 5, or maybe even longer, right? And so as you build that book of business, that money is coming in consistently, and then you're out hunting for more customers to add to your recurring revenue model. So I would strongly recommend you at least look at recurring revenue models and put that on your list, because if you want to build something and eventually sell it, it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to sell it at a higher multiple with recurring revenue. So that's kind of the point of this episode, is just like when you're looking around at different business models, you can look at a transaction-based type of business model, like a painting company. Typically, they don't have any recurring revenue. Now, some of our HVAC models, they have different maintenance programs where they're getting some recurring revenue. Pest control companies are usually really good for recurring revenue. Most residential and commercial property owners are having their pest control done quarterly or whatever is recommended based on the pest treatment. So look at those types of business models. Those business models are going to really help you grow a sustainable business model. You're not always hunting and gathering, and there's some predictability with these types of franchises. And for example, we had spoke about on a previous episode, we spoke about a company that does bathroom hygiene. And what they try to do is their salespeople want to bring in 2 new customers per week. That's their minimum goal that they set. And by doing that, the average customer is worth, let's just call it $5,000 per year. And as you can see, you can calculate what your top line revenue could be based on these assumptions. And so you could really build a sustainable business that at the end of it will sell for a higher multiple than a normal service-based business that might trade at 2.2 or 3.5 times earnings. You can get a higher multiple on a recurring revenue type business model, depending on what that business model is. And that's why, like these software companies we look at, these software companies that have subscribers or members, they can sometimes trade as high as 20 times, right? 20 times earnings. So there's substantial upside with membership-based business models. So I encourage you, as you're going through your business model reviews and you're thinking about building out your buy box, that you put recurring revenue as one of your needs, because I think it's very important to build something that is not dependent on the economy going up or down, that these are just these boring business models that people are gonna spray for rodents and pests, right? They're not gonna not do that because they have to. The bathroom hygiene type of business, like they need to clean their bathrooms. They need to keep them hygienic if they have a restaurant or a gym. So as you're diving into your business search and you're looking online, and maybe you're on Biz Buy Sell and you're looking around, start defining your buy box. We hear about that a lot, like for example, in Buy Then Build, like Walker Diebel's book. He does a great job of breaking down the buy box. So define your buy box, And even if you're doing a franchise startup, it's the same principles that you should define your buy box on what buy box makes the most sense for you. Are you keeping your W-2 job? Do you have a technician already that would be a great person to run operations for your business? Do you have salespeople? Now, granted, you don't need to have a true good franchise model is going to help you take you from somebody that does know nothing about an industry. And if you have the skill sets and you can follow the playbook, then you can be successful in a franchise. That's why a lot of people that go, well, I would love to be in the HVAC business, but I don't have any HVAC knowledge. Well, a franchise system, I was just on a call, and one of the franchise systems we work with, they said the last 30 territories they sold, 27 of them were entrepreneurs and had no HVAC experience. So you don't necessarily need experience. Now, if you're looking in HVAC, you want to know what the licensing laws are. Usually they have that figured too, because you can sometimes rent a license until you get your license. They have solutions for some of this. Same thing with pest control. Each state is different on what it takes to get your pest control license. So as you're doing due diligence, you're going to look into doing all of this and more. But I guess today's episode was really about why I believe recurring revenue should be definitely on your checklist of business models to look for, because I think building something that is going to sell for a higher multiple, and also when you do the work once, a lot like the bathroom hygiene business, right? They have their contracts are 3 years. You're going to have that client for at least 3 years, and hopefully they renew. And so it's really about just knowing your numbers. And I think with recurring revenue business models, you know your numbers because you can define what that will look like. If we know the average customer is worth $5,000, you have a 3-year contract, and then how many customers do we need to hit $1 million top line revenue? What's our overhead? What's our recurring expenses that we're paying? Our employee expenses, our contractor expenses, our licenses, insurance, whatever else is needed. You basically build projections like you're going to build for your SBA loan. Same principle. You want to do that for this drill and really hone in on what will be achievable. Does the business model, the franchise you're looking at, does it have a call center? How did they help you market? What support, what training do they offer? These are all things you're going to want to know to really figure out what franchise model you will end up with. And so this is the process that our team takes you through. We have you take a business assessment. We do some intake with you. A lot of questions we ask, because not everyone is going to quit their job and go 24/7 into a business. So we have to align all these factors, how much capital you have to invest. Are you SBA financeable? And then we want to show you enough business models, and we want you to talk to several franchises, and then they all have their process they take you through to really give you enough diligence. And then hopefully at the end of this learning experience, you find a business model that really resonates with you, and then you can pull the trigger eventually. But there's no time frame. Some people decide in a month and they find the right business. Some people it takes a year. It really takes time. You got to go through all the franchise disclosure. You got to read the documents. We suggest working with franchise attorneys when you get closer to signing your franchise agreement. Understand the business model, who the principals, is this franchise model owned by a bigger conglomerate? FDD is a great place to start once you start getting into the business model. Then the item 19, the financial earning claims, and then validation process where you're going to call the franchisees in the system. These are all the steps you're going to do. But first, define the buy box, define the thesis of what type of business would make sense, and then our team helps you do all this. So anyways, go to bookwithbeau.com and we'll help you. We'll help you find it. We'll help you fund it. We'll put you in contact with the right people, CPAs, people to help set up your business entities, and a lot more. So anyways, see you on the next episode.
Meet Beau Eckstein, the driving force behind Business Ownership Coach. Unlocking the path to business ownership. Visit www.businessownershipcoach.com. Thrive with Business Ownership Coach.
Hey guys, Beau Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.